You're listening to Closing Market Weekly, the show where real estate closings meet real world insight. With your host, Phillip Hogan. And every week we break down the trends, tools, and the timing that keeps deals moving forward. Let's dive in. Hi, I'm Phillip Hogan, the host of Closing Market Weekly, the CEO to Signing Services of America, and the author to my newly released book, Relentless Excellence, a story of family, business building, and value-driven leadership. Welcome to another episode. And, I'm excited to have our next guest on the show because he is someone who is representing a branch of the military and as well as he continues his service now that he is out of the military. And so he's got some great information to share with everyone, particularly the veterans. Particularly, this is an episode that I really want to target our veterans and let them know that what life can be like once you retire from the military. So without further ado, our guest is B.T. Robinson. He was a master sergeant with the U.S. Army. He served 25 years. He has seen a tour in Iraq, and he is now fully retired. And I believe he retired in 2024. And he's living a luxurious life in Atlanta. And without further ado, let me just welcome to the stage, BT. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, man. It's an honor and privilege of you having me here, and a privilege to be able to talk to yourself and all the people who will be watching.
Man, listen, I'm excited to you. I'm excited as well. And, thank you for your service. Being a 25 years in the military, you should be really committed for all that you've done, but you put together that time frame. So kind of like give us a little taste as to how your career evolved in the military, and we'll get into some other parts, but let's just talk a little bit about, your life in the military and how things really came to the point to become a master sergeant.
For those out there who are familiar with the Army, I was an Army soldier and a signal soldier, which is basically the branch within the Army that is responsible for communication. I was a 25 Bravo throughout the entirety of my career. I enlisted when I was 23 in the year 2000, and I originally went in with the ambition of getting the training, getting the opportunity to go to school, getting all those benefits. And it ended up being such a labor of love that I ended up just staying in. And gosh, before you know it, 25 years will pass, and my time was up. Uh, gosh, I started out like many people right at the bottom as a private, and I just really put my foot into it, leaned into it heavily, and what we call fast track, a person who typically promotes very quickly. And so I climbed up the ladder pretty quick. I made my first E5 ranking as non-commissioned officer. Again, for those who are familiar, I made the non-commissioned officer rankings in like just under 3 years.
3 years.
And
Wow.
it's under 3 years. I went on to make E7, sergeant first class. I shot up through there and made that within 10 years. And then I made E8 within 15, which is where I pretty much kind of stayed and lingered up until my time, my time was done. I had no ambitions to make E9. E8 was my ceiling. That's where I wanted to be, and that's where I stayed.
And so for the civilians in the audience, so E8, is that the highest position for an enlisted person?
Next to highest.
Next
So
to
the
highest.
highest you
Okay.
can go is E9. Now,
Uh-huh.
of course, there's a lot of positions you can get at the E9 that would be considered higher because all E9s are not created equally. But that is for pay, that is the highest you can go on the enlisted side.
Okay, great. All right, great. So now you've gotten to the point of being an E8, and you kind of like gotten really settled into that position and that role, and that's sort of like where you stayed until you retired. Is that correct?
That's
Okay,
correct.
great deal. And so for those that are in the military or looking to get into the military, what bit of advice would you offer to them if they wanted to follow your trail of success?
This is specifically for people who are looking to join, even if you're not that you're joining or you're already.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a piece of advice I got from a sergeant major who I ran into in Iraq. And he was actually one of my drill sergeants. I hadn't seen him since I got out of basic training. So it was kind of serendipitous that we were both in the same place at the same time. So I was standing before him as a staff sergeant at that time, and now he's a sergeant major. And we were just kind of talking back and forth, and he became my mentor. And the piece of advice that he gave me, he said, take the hard assignment.
Mm.
Don't go the easy route. If you want to excel, take the hard jobs and excel in those hard jobs.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you're gonna climb the promotion ladder faster, by walking a path that's harder and no one else wants to go. Take
Mm-hmm.
that path.
And that's some great advice. And obviously, you took it and you were very successful. And so, taking a hard path, would that mean by taking a hard path, it gives you the opportunity to have more visibility to your superiors or to those that could possibly be looking for someone with your particular skill set to join their team?
So it's by taking those hard assignments and sometimes going to positions that are in locations that no one wants. It gives it gives you the resume that you are not afraid to take a challenge. And when you're not afraid to take a challenge and you excel in those challenges, it just really strengthens your portfolio to get positions somewhere further down in your career that you're going to be revered. So they're going to be looking for someone that's responsible, someone who has a certain level of education, and just someone who isn't afraid to get his hands dirty, get down and be so. And when they look at your resume, okay, this guy here, he did this, and he did that. That's going to get you an opportunity to get some of those higher level positions than would be someone else who just kind of walk the average line.
Okay, great. All right. Thanks for sharing that information, BT, because many people really don't know whatever your career is, right? I heard that you had a mentor who really advised you, and you trusted him, and you took his advice, and you saw the benefits of it. And I think that is a wonderful recipe for success and for career success. So thanks for sharing that. So now that we are in, 10 years, let's just say 10, 12 years deep into the military, you've gotten your E8, you really have reached like the highest level that you want to aspire to within the military. At that point, it's just a matter of continuing to do your various assignments that would ultimately lead you to the point of becoming ready to retire. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. So you retired in 2024, but you began your
2025.
I'm sorry,
2025.
2025. No, but you
Mhm.
began to retire. You began to prepare for your retirement
The
in
process, you're
2024.
right. Correct.
Okay, great. And so what were some of the things that you considered and you factored into preparing for your retirement?
The biggest thing was time. So
Hmm.
my first two kids, I have a 11-year-old
Hmm.
and I have a 22 and a 21-year-old.
Hmm.
So what I wanted to give my 11-year-old was an opportunity to have something that my eldest kids didn't have, was a
Hmm.
dad that was home pretty much all the time. And being in the military, unfortunately, you're deployed, you're doing what's called temporary duties, you do short tours, a year here, a year there, really pulls you away from your family. And that's the sacrifice that we make as soldiers or as service members in general.
Hmm.
And I wanted to give him an opportunity to have me as much as humanly possible.
Hmm.
So I wanted to move into a job or a field when I retired that would give me the opportunity to do just that, to make sure that I'm gonna be there for his baseball or whatever sport or whatever endeavor. If it was to take him to his music lessons, I wanted to make sure I was gonna be there for that. So that was pretty much the biggest deciding factor for me in planning on what I wanted to do when I took that uniform off.
Mhm. Not only are you a soldier, a very successful soldier, but you're reflective, right? And I think that is one of the wonderful features of being able to live life is to see, okay, well, this is the path ahead of me, right? What in my past can help me make the time to come better for me and my family. And it sounds like you made a right decision. So now you're beginning to, you're in this transition, you're in this thought process, reflecting, and also looking into what do I want to do, where do I want to do it, and ultimately make the selection. And so how did you finally make the selection to becoming what you currently do today?
So I'm gonna back up a little bit. I had a
Okay.
friend, we call them battle buddies. It's people you work with in the army. We call them battle buddies.
Okay.
And her name's Keisha. Shout out to Keisha if she watches this.
Shout out to Keisha.
She, yep, shout out to Keisha. So she is a notary signing agent herself, and she does that part time as a soldier. She's been doing it for a while. And
Uh-huh.
so she told me about it, and she kept telling me about it. You need to do it. Check it out, do it, do it. This is how it works. This is how much money I make out. And she's always taking trips everywhere. Every time I turn around, she's always, and her and her entire family in
Mm,
Africa or
mm.
or some other exotic place. She's a cruise. Every other month she's on a cruise.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, there must be something to this.
Mhm.
And so fast forward, I'm right at the cusp of retire. Now my options are, I can work on base, and I can make a lot of money, right? But money is not the thing for me. It's being there for my son, all the things I just talked about earlier. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should give this notary thing a really good effort this
Uh,
time. Let me,
uh,
because she's been telling me about it. And so I went ahead and did the training. And
uh,
out of the blue, I sent her
uh,
a text of my certificate where I
uh,
finished the training through Georgia.
uh,
And then of course she was ecstatic about it. And then I eventually went down to the clerk of court and got my
uh,
notary certificate, the
right,
commission. And
right.
I sent her a copy of the commission, and she literally walked me through everything that I needed to do moving forward, what type of training I needed to do, where I needed to do it, how I needed to set up insurance, bonding, so on and so forth. She literally guided me through the entire process, and that's how I did it, because the decision for me was to, I could have worked. I rambled a little bit, but let me circle back. I didn't want to go right into working on base, being a contractor in the military or being a Department of War employee, because that puts me back into the 40-hour race, which I didn't necessarily want to do. And I
Right.
did not want to be on the road. Most of the jobs I was looking at required you to be on the road 10%, 20% of the time. And so that
Mhm,
was putting me back in uniform again. So
mhm,
that's literally how I decided to give, let me do this notary signing agent thing and see how it works out, because
mm,
the choice is I can do it when I want to do it, how I want to do it, and I can
mhm,
still make sure I'm there for my kid when I need to be there.
mhm.
That's pretty much
That's
it.
that's a great story, man. Thank you for sharing. So not only are you reflective, but you planned. You are an executor of what you envision you want for you and your family. And it sounds like it worked out well. So just to make sure that my audience understands, so you transitioned from being a master sergeant after 25 years in the military to retiring to now becoming a notary signing agent.
That's
And
correct.
you went through the process of becoming a commissioned notary in the state of Georgia. Then you
Hmm.
went into acquiring the skills and the knowledge and the training to become a notary, a certified notary signing agent. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Fantastic. And so now we have BT Robinson, who is a retired master sergeant. Now is BT Robinson the certified notary signing agent in the state of Georgia, right?
That's it.
So let's talk. So that's fantastic. So are there any traits or skills that are transferable from being the retired master sergeant to becoming a certified notary signing agent? And if they are, would you please just kind of give us a short list of five of what those are?
Number one, attention to detail.
Okay.
And I know everybody in the military, our veterans, they know what, I know you know what that means. The veterans know exactly what that means. You have to have peak attention to detail, because it's
Okay.
very easy to miss the small things. And we know the
Yes.
small things is what kills you.
Yes.
So did my attention to detail honed. Oh, but I think I always had it, but it was really honed in my military time.
Mm-hmm.
Having that was one thing. Two, just organization. Years of being a staff NCO, an operations NCO, really helped out to be able to get to the point to where I was very organized. And and for those who are aspiring to be notary signing agents, once you get to the point to where you start on your first 10, 15, 20 appointments, you're going to really settle into your own rhythm. We call it an army of battle rhythm. You really settle into your own rhythm, and find out what's going to be most efficient way to do this task, this job, these appointments. And then what you're going to find is that even then it's constantly evolving, because you have to be proactive. With a combination of being proactive and reactive. You can
Mm-hmm.
be proactive all day, but no plan is going to be worth anything after first contact.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get into that house, you never know what to expect until you get there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another thing. Let's see if we talk about attention to detail, organization, Planning, of course, obviously planning is a big thing in the military. So being able to plan out how you're going to map your day. How am I going to be able to get these multiple appointments in time and be able to accomplish all my tasks without anything overlapping, without being late, without getting anything confused, messing up my packets or sending a packet to the wrong place, paperwork getting intertwined. The proper planning is literally everything.
Mhm.
Um, punctuality, of course, goes without saying, is a huge thing in the military. You got to be where you need to be on time. In fact,
Mhm.
early, because
Mhm.
if you're on time, you're late. So you
Mhm.
got to be where you got to be on time.
Right.
And of course, we used to say in the right uniform, but you got to have the right equipment.
Right.
So planning is everything. Being able to walk out that door knowing that you have everything in your notary bag. Do you have your stamps? Do you have the packets? I've walked out of the house without a packet before. So even me, I'm still prone to mistakes, but that's part of getting a battle rhythm in sync.
Right.
Once you get everything in place, we're going back a few numbers. But once you get everything and together,
Uh-huh.
everything begins to flow.
Uh-huh.
Gosh, five. I think that's it. I don't know if I have a fifth one, but I
Well,
know those things definitely help.
those things are, what you provide. Yes, they do. They're very helpful and they're critical, right? I really like, especially the being a proactive communicator opposed to being reactive, right?
Yes, yes.
Over on the signing services side, I'm constantly telling my staff and those notaries that work for us is that we are proactive thinkers, right? And rather than wait for the bomb to blow up to decide what to do, let's realize that there's a bomb in the room or potential bomb in the room, and how can we either detonate it or
Mhm.
diffuse it, or prevent ourselves from being damaged, because it's the inevitable is going to happen. So thank you for that. And you coming from as being a master sergeant, a retired master sergeant from the United States Army, I think your advice is really, really powerful and critical, and can help anybody, not only the notary signing
Mhm.
agent, right? But these are the recipes of success. And I was reading something where, oh, Tony Robbins says it. He says success leaves evidence, right? And
Yes.
this is the evidence of your success. Yes, this is how you became, who you are as a retired master sergeant, now
Mhm.
a successful notary signing agent. But the notary signing agent is not only, we don't work for someone, we work for ourselves, right?
Mhm.
So share with us, how has, as the retired master sergeant who's become a certified notary signing agent in the state of Georgia, been able to do what? Market himself so he can get business.
Your reputation precedes you.
Okay.
So when I first started, obviously, and that's going to be a big thing, all people coming into the game will learn very quickly, is that trust is on top of the mountain, and that is something that you do not want to blow up.
Mm.
So I'm trying to put this in the right words. These companies have a lot of people to choose from, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to be the one that they choose. In the beginning, you have absolutely nothing to speak for you. They look at your, and I'm just assuming here because I'm not on the other side of the equation. So I think when you're getting looked at, they can definitely see that you're new. So typically, if they may have a choice to choose between someone new and someone seasoned, more likely they're going to choose someone seasoned. So with that being said, you have to make sure you at least get a hit. You don't have to hit a home run, but you want to make sure you at least get on base.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time you go to an appointment, you want to check. And I don't want to get into the intimate details of how an appointment works, but you want to make sure you check, and double check.
That's right.
If you have people that you can call on, for some motivations, I would call Keisha, I'll text Keisha rather. And I was like, what am I forgetting? What it was, am I doing? And she would give, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Did you do this ABC 1, 2, 3? And I'm like, okay,
Uh-huh.
good. I'm good to go. And then of course I go into the appointment. If you have a problem, pick up the phone and call somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Call people say like NNA, if that's where you got your training. NNA has a hotline. If you have a
Right.
mentor,
Mm-hmm.
call them. I remember my very first appointment. I had to text. Thankfully, the people, there was an issue. and they were looking at the paperwork, and I was able to grab my phone and send a text to her to get some good advice, and it ended up being some good quantitative advice that ended up working out. But the only way you can, initially market yourself, especially if you're using things like SnapDocs or Signing Order or some of the other signing services that you use, or even your self-fill, you want to make sure that every single time you go up the bat, you at least get a hit. You may not get a home run, but you need to get a hit. The last thing you want to do is strike out. That's where all that attention to detail and everything I talked about, man. That you have to market yourself in the beginning this way through your work, because your work is what speaks for you.
That's right. I agree with you 100%. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you, because what you're saying is absolutely right. Is that if you strike out, you go to the bottom of the list. You go back to how they say, you have the starting team, and then you have, the minor league.
The minor leagues. Like the minor leagues.
You know what I'm saying? Quick, fast, and hurry. You got to pay, and you don't get that's a one-way ticket, when you go to the minors, right? So we want to make sure that if you're on the starting team, you want to stay there and listen to retired Master Sergeant BT Robinson, because he's speaking truth to power. And so, listen, this is a great time to go ahead and let folks know if they want to hire you, if they want to hire retired Master Sergeant BT Robinson, how would someone contact you?
So I actually started an LLC. It's fledgling, but I'm building it. So I'm building myself into a brand. The name of my company is Palindrome Services LLC. Okay. So to reach me, you can email me at palindrome.services.1001@gmail.com.
So we need you to spell that for us, BT. Spell it.
Palindrome. Palindrome.
Palindrome?
Palindrome. Basically it's a word that's spelled the same in either direction. So that's just a clever name I came up with, and it rang. It doesn't really mean anything. But it's a palindrome.services.1001@gmail.com.
Okay.
And it's going to be palindromeservices.com. So if you go there now, it's going to be the website's under construction, but that is the name of the website. But you can definitely email me at that email address. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Palindrome.com.
Palindromeservices.com.
Palindromeservices.com. Okay.
Correct.
And spell palindromeservices.com again, real slow. Once again, please.
PALINDROME services, services.com.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And so tell us, what's one of your success stories that can be contributed to your time in the military?
I guess I could say one story, or not a collection, or just kind of a collective.
A collective sign.
I would say my time as I used to be a recruiter. I was actually a recruiter very early in my career. And just being a successful recruiter, it was really the first time in my career where I was pulled away from my MOS. I was pulled away from communications. And so I was thrown into a world. And of course, if all the veterans out there who've been recruiters, they know what I'm talking about. You're literally thrown into a dog-eat-dog world that you know absolutely nothing about. You're thrown into a community that you know absolutely no one there. You're paired, and you're always going to be paired with other service members that you don't know whenever you go to a new location. But I was tossed into that location, and it was either sink or swim. And despite the odds, for the 2 years that I was an Army recruiter, I was one of the best in the state of Florida. I was in Florida at the time. I was actually one of the best. I was number 2 in the company, number 2 in the company. I was in the top 5 of the battalion and top 10 in the brigade. And I was only an E5. I'd only been in the Army like 3.5 years, less than 4 years. So I was one of the most successful recruiters that they would, during my tenure there. And coming into the world of signing services, I see that was kind of very similar. It's a world that I don't know anything about. There is a learning curve. What you learn through the training services are great, but I wouldn't say that it's 100% applicable to the real world. You really make your mettle when you're out there in the field doing the work.
Mhm.
And so being tossed into a world right out of the military that I didn't know anything about, and the transition out of the military after 25 years is tough in itself. It's its own challenge.
Mm.
But coming into this world, not having a lot of knowledge about it, it really presented a challenge. And I can say that a lot of the experiences that I had in my military life really prepared me for this. It really honed my ability to be able to persevere
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
stick it and see it through.
Great. That's wonderful. And so there you have it. So here we have a retired Master Sergeant BT Robinson. It's just kind of like giving you the recipe for success. What he's been able to take from the military and apply to his new career as a certified notary signing agent in Georgia, and how he has become very successful in a short period of time. How long have you been a notary signing agent?
8 months now.
By 8
Not
months.
long at all. Yep.
And
Not long at all.
I mean, he's knocking them dead. He's knocking them out. He's killing them, and I love it, right? But he's killing it because he has really, you know, so like submerged himself into this industry, and allowed himself to be absorbed with everything that this industry has to offer, and thus be able to decide, well, what is the best approach? What are the best tactics to be successful? And here you are hearing a story, a success story in Master Sergeant, retired Master Sergeant. I had to be very careful. Retired Master Sergeant BT Robinson, because there's a difference between active and retired, and you are officially retired. And so, tell our audience. And so, what's the future for you as a retired Master Sergeant and a budding, successful notary signing agent, certified notary signing agent in the state of Georgia?
I'm just going to continue to grow my company, continue to seek out good appointments, and just make sure I'm there for my son. Those are my big three, my big top three. And of course, live healthy, wealthy, and be wise. That comes in. I think that's a culmination of all those things. If everything works successfully, that's pretty much it, man. I hope I continue to grow in the industry, learn new things, and meet new people, and we're just gonna let it ride, see where it goes.
Mm-hmm. That sounds great. Sounds like a plan for success for me. So listen. So one more time, retired Master Sergeant BT Robinson. If someone wanted to contact you, please let us know what that website is and spell it out for us.
Mm-hmm. It's palindromeservices.com. P-A-L. What is it? Palindrome services services.com.
Mm-hmm. Great, wonderful. Okay, well, listen, BT, thank you for being a guest on the Closing Market Weekly Show. You are our first retired veteran and who has successfully transitioned out of the military into becoming a certified notary signing agent. And folks, if you haven't listened to the show in its entirety, I encourage you to back up, listen to it in its entirety, because there are some real true gems that BT has left for you. And as I said earlier, as Tony Robbins said, success leaves its trails. But to find success in this episode, you got to start from the very beginning and listen to it in its entirety. And then you will find the keys to success that he's used. You use them, and I guarantee you'll be successful as he has. So BT, thank you once again for being a guest on Closing Market Weekly.
Thank you, Ben.
And
thank you.
Of course. And then to our audience, listen, thank you for being a great audience. And we hope you enjoyed this show. Stay tuned for more great shows are soon to come. And bye now.
Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Closing Market Weekly. If you found this episode valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone in the industry. For more insights from the front lines of real estate closings, we'll see you next week.